Welcome to the DMF. I am your host, Justin Yance, and today is the season premiere. I have a special guest with me today. I have Rosen of Casting Society. You can find her at Rosen CSA, and enjoy. Okay, I have a special guest with me today. I have Rosen of Rosen CSA, proud member of the Casting Society. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me. It is lovely to be here, taking a moment out of my schedule to be with you. Thank you for the invite, and I hope you are having a terrific day.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to. So the first thing I wanted to ask you about is I noticed that you graduated from Webster University. Would you say that was a stepping stone to going into casting, or was that just what did you major in?
A media mass comm, which I mean, to me, it was a stepping stone. Webster was and still is a theater school. So I was actually a reporter there, and I reported on the theater and did theater critique, etc. And moved right into reporting and getting involved in production. From the genesis of being a fashion editor, and then moving through my career from that angle. And like a fashion editor starts out with I had to find clothing, costuming, I had to find props, I had to find locations, I had to cast the talent, I had to do everything in addition to writing and do the makeup. So I really learned everything in those early years of writing.
So that was kind of like training almost for the job,
Sure.
Even though it wasn't, necessarily casting training, it was just you were surrounded by all these things.
We didn't have casting training back then.
Yeah, exactly.
The CSA does now, but not then. We had to figure it out, and we still do, honestly.
Yeah, it's very much a job where you have to figure out, on the job. It's not like
every day is different. You want to think it's the same, but it's all different. I mean, my summer job this year is one of the jobs I'm doing this summer is a theater project. I mean, I've been in casting 150 years, and I've never done theater. So this is great. I love it, and it's different, and it's killing me, but we're happy about it.
Yeah. So also, I noticed that you did location scouting. What did you think of that? I'm always fascinated by location scouting. It's just
right. It's interesting. I love all the front end stuff, because you're kind of working on your own, yet with a team. That's what casting is too. Like we don't necessarily go out on set. Location scouts sometimes do, or they'll pass it on to a location manager. But it's interesting. It's like how can you get people to give up their homes? And when I was scouting, it was like hardly any money. It was a lot of it was for the editorial work, and that's like no money. Here, we'll give you a credit. And then and then I moved into commercial, which had some money, and it's just all of it is so interesting, putting the pieces of the puzzle together in order to create this piece of art, right, that we all end up with. It's the most collaborative art form, filmmaking, commercial making.
It really is.
Yeah.
Did you find that when you were did you start with like an idea of where casting or where a location would be, like, or did you just do you just get in the car and just drive around and be like,
no, you always go, like, make some calls. I mean, now you've got so much more at your disposal, but back then it was you need this kind of a house, and you think of wherever you are, and you think, oh, bungalows are here, oh, these things are there, or you need a kitchen or this, or mostly, oftentimes you think of your friends. You think, but yeah, I left location scouting it's hard work. And, I mean, that's why eventually I just said, I'm just going to do casting because this is what I do. And I left all the rest behind. I kept the makeup for a long time because it's such a simple thing. Somebody will call you. It's not simple, but you can, get called.
Once you know how to do makeup, you can pretty much do it for,
and it's the best job on set.
It really is. That's
right?
my favorite people to talk to. Is
you get to be
they
in
know
the
all the
air
stories,
conditioning
they know
because
everything.
You're in the motorhome. You're so. And the touch, like your work is front loaded, like all very early in the morning, and then you just have to touch up through the day. It is hard work. I'm not saying it's not, but I did like still getting out on set. Now I just do set visits because there's no reason to have a casting director on set. I'm working on when you're on set. I'm working on getting the next talent work, right? So yeah, it's hard.
They'll be like, oh, can you look at this? Can you look at that? It's like, oh God, leave me alone.
I have a client next week coming in from Boise, and I really enjoy her. And I'm hoping to make it out on set to see her. And oddly, that job is here. I mean, my work is everywhere. And so
it's funny. I believe Stanley Kubrick had like a full-time like location scouting team that would look for like the perfect doorway or something like that.
Right.
Like you just
I mean, about that. It's all part of the painting, right? It's all the humans are part of it. The props are part of it. The locations are part of it. The makeup is part of it. Certainly bigger part in some movies than others,
Yeah.
It's all a part of the painting.
And when you use, actual locations, I mean, like the actors can touch it. It has that lived in feel, the five senses, whereas
people's homes as opposed to built out studios are very different. You could see it in the end product all day long.
Yeah.
Immediately. Yeah. Immediately when that scene shifts to in studio with a green screen. Yeah. And you feel differently as a viewer, I think.
Yeah, because you can't, there's something about the weight of it is off, and you just you can't feel it. I mean, they're getting better at it. I mean, that's one of the things I've seen get better with green screen is the weight, and it does feel like you can touch it a little bit, but it's still a little ways off. Now, moving on. So your first casting was with Edward Scissorhand.
Isn't that crazy?
I didn't know.
For a first job.
And you were actually, I believe, 6 weeks pregnant while you were on the
No, you have to understand. Of course, I worked that movie. I did all the day players and everything that was local. And so I was on set every day. And this was I was carrying a pager because it was before cell phones. I'm dating myself, I understand. But I was 5 months pregnant when I applied for it, right? We all kind of, I beat out a number of people for this job. And then I'm on set until I delivered through the heat of Florida. It was horrible.
I don't know.
You've never been pregnant, so you don't understand, but this is not what you want to do.
No, I don't know. I don't know how you did. I don't know how you did that.
I have no idea. I would show up 15-hour days, and I remember wearing this blue pith helmet. It was so crazy, and these big dresses. It was really nuts. Yeah. Wow. But
But that was kind of like your baptism in fire.
It was. Yeah. Yeah. After that, I felt like I knew a little about casting.
Now, did they treat you differently because you were obviously pregnant?
I never told anybody. I just got fatter and fatter, and I didn't want to talk about it because these were the days of, well, certainly if they thought I was pregnant, this was the days of maybe they wouldn't have hired me. I wouldn't, I'm not putting that on them trust me.
Exactly.
I'm just saying that was kind of more the tone now. Of course, it wouldn't be the tone, I would hope. But yeah, I just took the meeting in a big dress and just assumed they thought I was fat, not that there's anything wrong with fat. But, but and I got bigger and, and I didn't carry real round. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So you were just like, I'll just deal with this. But then you were like, never again. I can't do this. Be on set like this again.
Right. I never. Yeah. From then on, front end casting only. Yeah. I only hire people to be on set if I need that.
Yeah.
And I don't, I don't do extras. So it's God bless the people who do them. It's hard work.
Well, that was something that you said in one of your interviews, is that somebody actually they were showing up at your doorstep.
Oh my God, it's true. Yeah. So here
like,
I was, a million weeks pregnant, and people were knocking on my door saying, "Can I be in the movie?" And I'm like, "What?" And I had an open call for this movie, and it's like, that was your chance in a public place. Don't come to my door. That was creepy.
Yeah, come to your door. Hey, can we come in?
But let's face it, people still come to my door every day. Not my physical door, but they come to my Instagram messages. They email me. They Facebook message. Whatever avenue they try to get through to me, and it's just like, and they all want to be my friend. And I've said it so many times. I cannot be your friend, and I'm not going to hire you from a message. It's just the likelihood of you coming across my desk and it marrying with the job that I'm thinking about, that you would fit. It's impossible.
And how do we trust you're going to show up? I mean,
right.
with no experience.
That's why I like the buffer of a talent agent. That's exactly right. Because if you have a talent agent, then I can, if you don't show up, which has happened, I call your agent, and basically her guarantee to me is, well, she better find somebody else real fast that looks exactly like that.
Yeah. But no, I can imagine that's why you can't really do open casting calls with everything. You'd have every single person that'll be like, "Hey, I'm 70 years old. Can I play the 20-year-old?" And it's like, no.
Right. It's difficult. I mean, we're doing these, open calls for dancers and singers across the country. I'm not personally at these auditions, but I'm sending people there. But it's ages 8 to 23, so it's pretty segmented, and the people I send are scheduled. So, and the rest, I don't know what they're doing.
But now, I noticed that you cast Manhunt for Bravo.
Right.
I was laughing. I was like, I remember that show.
I know.
That was when Bravo did not know like what they were as a network yet. They they had the success with Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, and that was like kind of the first time you kind of heard of Bravo, other than it being like, James Lipton's Inside the Actors Studio. Like that's all they really had was that. And I thought that was funny. Do you remember? I mean, that's so long ago. I'm imagining.
It was a long time. I mean, it was fun though. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Now you started doing Clubhouse, where you and Kim are kind of showing actors, casting direct, kind of link like a little peep inside. How did that come about?
So, we've had a pandemic. And so during the pandemic, so this is more about my YouTube channel than Clubhouse, but I'll weave that around to Clubhouse for you. During the pandemic, Kim Swanson, a casting director in Los Angeles, and a dear friend of mine, were talking on Zoom, as we all did at the beginning of the pandemic. And it was just kind of a fun thing to pass the time because we were supposed to stay home for 2 weeks. And so we're talking and we're complaining about actors not following directions, which is literally all we talk about, aside from and how's your dog, but and other things too. But but so, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so golden. Why don't we record this? And we can record here. Look, let's push that. Oh, look, there's that button. Yeah, we can record these. And oh, let's get a guest, because they're all staying home too. And so that's what we did between the two of us. You know, we had many, I think we have 35 episodes up. And
on YouTube.
You know, on YouTube, Casting Notes from Rosen Kim. Please follow. I hope you'll drop some links in
Absolutely.
the thing here for me. But that's, please subscribe to that. It's a great channel. If you're an actor, I recommend you listen to them all. We made them short, like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And they're very watchable, I think. And the information is astounding. I mean, you cannot, what the people we had on, we had people talking about working with Meryl Streep and Steven Spielberg. And we had the executive producer of the #1 show on NBC at the time, probably still is, The Weakest Link. So I'm really proud of it. And it's just something we did because we love actors. We want you guys to succeed. And you know, we knocked them out. We had a lot of fun. I don't think we'll be doing any more. I wanted to finish up to make it even 40, but boy, Kim and I are so slammed. And YouTube is like a beast you have to feed. So anyway, we are where we are, but please subscribe, and we you know, and share it with your friends. And then after that, we were doing that for a bit, and then this Clubhouse thing came up. And so, you know, I went in and Kim went in, and we're, you know, we just, you know, I have this casting directors club that's quite successful. And I have this room called the Craft of Casting. We get together, I get together like 10 to 12 casting directors, and that's all I let on stage, plus a moderator. And we talk about an hour and a half every Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And we talk about one topic regarding casting, acting, that kind of thing. And we, you know, we kill that topic, and you'd be surprised. I mean, there is, if you're an actor, once again, you got to follow this. I'm going to make it into a podcast, but that's a whole nother thing about editing. But but so
Tell me
Craft
about
of Acting on Clubhouse, and soon to be a podcast. So keep up with all that because it's amazing. And I built my Instagram over the COVID. So I don't know, it was just like some people took to knitting. I just found social media and different things to do, and it passed the time, and it still does. But I still do that Monday night room, and it's killer. We did over a year, over 52 episodes. I never missed one Monday, and you know, I likely won't.
Do you find that better than the YouTube channel, or what you were doing with YouTube, or was
400 or 500 people show up in Clubhouse every week? And what I have there are these 10, 12 casting directors. They're reality based, they're commercial, they're from Los Angeles, they're from Canada, they're from Texas, they're from Florida, they're from New York, they're theater, they're, you know, like I have everything, film. I have associates, I have full casting, you know, they all, you know, show up and give their wisdom, and I learn something every single week. So it's really, that room is special, and those people are amazing.
Interesting. That's it. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a great idea to have, you know, that many casting directors on there, and, you know, and talking, you know, and
well, it's a great idea, but we never could, right? First of all, there wasn't the technology, and that's I can't move it off a Clubhouse because everybody is, you know, this is where they go. You know what I mean? So
it's become
Clubhouse
the destination.
Right. It is what it is. And it continues to, you know, I mean, in the heyday of Clubhouse, I mean, we'd have like 1,600, 2,000 people in the tour. It was pretty remarkable, but that's what it should be. And that's why I want to make it a podcast, because I want to make it more accessible to the listener.
To have, to be able to have
Clubhouse is
that
difficult.
access.
People don't want to download the app and all kinds of things. But
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting. Now, switching on to auditions. This is kind of a stock question, but you know, I'm going to ask it anyways. Describe to me what you think is probably a great read.
Probably Bonnie Gillespie's book.
Oh, no. I mean, like in the audition, like, good read. Not a book. I'm going to get to that, but
describe a good read.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like,
I think it depends on the audition. I think you just know it when you hear it. You know, if you're crying or you get chills, that might be the right one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not an actor. So all I rely on is my personal feeling in the moment. And it seems to work out.
Now, how do you feel about like movement? Like, imagine we're like in this kind of proscenium. I mean, there's not a lot of movement. Do you find you like movement, or do you think it in auditions specifically? Do you feel that move?
Yeah, in virtual auditions, yeah.
In virtual auditions, yeah. How do you?
I mean, you know, you have to do a little action if it's called for, you know, and I always need a head to toe. But yeah, you know, when people kind of move around like this, it's a little disturbing, or if they have like, you know, so yeah, I think you have to, when you move, you should be pretty deliberate.
Yeah. Do you like it when actors play with camera angles? I mean, like, not necessarily like an over the top, but
no. No, and no. You know, I am very good at staying in my lane, right? And I appreciate when people in my workflow stay in their lane. You guys are already called upon to be way more than you should in your self-tapes. You're the director, you're the camera person, you're the sound person, you know, you're everything, your makeup, hair. So that being said, don't overthink it. Keep it simple. All we want to see is your read. We don't want fancy, and don't start editing. You know, I mean, if you're fading and you're writing titles on there and all that,
too long.
It serves no purpose except for to anger me. Then I have to hit the fast forward. Sometimes I'll have to cut that off in order to send it to my client. Do you know what that does to my workflow? It's terrible. And why are you doing this when you don't need to? This takes you more time. I need your information sooner. So if you're done with your read, that's all I want. I don't want anything else. No fades, no wipes, no swipes.
I mean, I've talked to casting directors that said, you know, they don't even want like anything. They don't even want books in the background, because the casting director will start looking at he's like, well, what books is he reading? You know, what are they, you know, looking? It's like, keep everything plain.
Keep things really plain.
The shirt needs to be plain. We don't want anything to take away from the acting. That's why you don't want to bring in a bunch of props and be like, or dare I say, I'm sure some actors, I would never do this, but like bring in, like probably put in a background score, and it's like, yeah, don't do that.
Right. No, it's true. It's true. Yeah, no, I've heard music. Oh, please.
No.
Like
unless it's asked of in the directions, like we want you to dance to a certain song.
Sure.
Then yes, there you go.
Right.
But don't put.
But if I'm telling you to dance and I haven't said and do it to this song or put music in, dance to those song. Dance to that song in your head. That's what But this is just my feeling.
No, but I think it's true. I think it overcomplicates, you know, the process. We have a lot of on your Instagram. I've seen the question several times. How do you feel about bloopers? And it's like, why? Why would you want to put, hey, let me show you how we messed up.
How you messed up.
It's like,
I mean,
it's funny in a movie because like, it's like, oh,
that's different. You've
even
already
the finished
finished the whole
product.
movie. I'm looking to give you a part. Why are you showing me? You know, it's like applying for a job and saying, and these are the things I do badly. You know,
Yeah.
not that a blooper is bad. I mean, you know, we all, you know, take one, take two, that's fine. But
Yeah.
keep your takes that
Time,
you don't like to yourself.
time, unless it's asked for, unless they're
Exactly.
asking for something like
Exactly.
that, then yeah, go
It's
ahead and do
just
it. But
it's the goofiest thing. I get some silly questions, but I
I,
answer
I,
them.
yeah, that's always been my problem with the casting director things. It's just like, I'm not with them. Just like you'll get the question like, how do I get cast? And it's like,
I know that. Yeah. I don't know.
do good work over a
Yeah.
consistent period of time. There you go. Hard work.
It's
End
like
of quote.
anything. How do I become a carpenter?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
That's not what I
really
want. I want you to tell me that,
right.
if I do this thing here, I'll be cast. Like, there's nothing that
Everybody
does.
wants to be discovered. They don't want to
Yeah.
put in the hard work. They
Yeah.
don't want to take classes. They don't want to spend the money, the energy, the
That
time.
is so the truth. So many actors I've gotten in arguments with is they don't want to do any kind of training. They're like, well, I did, 4 years at college. And I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't stop. Are
Yeah,
you
you
saying
have
that
to
you learned
keep
all that you
going.
need to know? I mean, yes, you're going to learn more on
Right.
the job, but continue
You have to
improving,
keep
work
learning.
every day.
Yeah.
Um, that's I mean, I work with an acting coach, twice a week, one-on-one, because I like to,
Excellent.
I don't like doing the whole, I did the class thing, but you're going to get 10 minutes. I mean, if you're new, that's going to help you because, you don't know anything and watching other actors are going to do. When you get to a certain level, though, you kind of want to work on just specific things about you. And my problem with
That's a
seeing,
great note, Justin. It really is.
you think
Um,
so?
I know it. Yeah, I think that you're onto something there. I mean, I think the bigger point is do what works for you. You
Yeah.
know, it's possible that once again, I'm not an acting coach and I've never been an actor, but I do know you need training. But I also know that, and we've talked a lot about this over the past few weeks, that there are so many bad people in our industry. And I want to say, if you're in with a teacher and they're making you feel very badly,
Yeah.
I think maybe get out. I think
Yeah.
that's not where you need to be. I would like to telegraph to you guys that you don't have to suffer to be an actor.
Yeah.
And if a teacher makes you feel less than, maybe go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing is, when you're in a lot of these scene studies, unless the teacher is, giving you the scenes to do, you're going to get a bunch of actors who are going to come in with a bunch of movie scenes.
Right.
And that's not going to, you're going to learn more from doing a theater scene, because if you can do that, you're going to be able to do movies.
Yeah.
It's just like trying to start with like like there's some classes on how to do green screen. It's like, that's just a monologue. It's just a monologue to something, something else. And that's why I like a lot of the classical training, because you start with the voice. And when you learn how to control your voice and how to speed up, slow down, it gives you all these different choices as an actor. And I find that very hard to learn in a scene study. But it's also got to come down to you, because you've got to be working a little bit every day, at 10 minutes, something every day. That'll get you over the hump, because acting is a lot like, playing the piano or learning an instrument. A lot
Or
of things are going
running.
to happen over time and you're not going to notice them. You can't
Right.
just go, all right, I'm going to study really hard for this test, ace it, and then it's going to be done. That's not how acting works. you're a little bit better here, you're a little bit better here, you're a little bit better here. And then you're like, oh, wow. You look back, you're like, wow, I really improved, you know?
I mean, it's true of working out. It's true of, I was out with a doctor friend. They were over last night, and he's retired, and he had a Zoom he had to jump on it. You know, he wanted to leave before then, but we were having so much fun. So he jumped on the Zoom while he was with us. He's retired, and he's
Yeah.
learning, just because it's like you can't stop learning. It's just better for all of us if we know more stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the problem. I think with societies, it's like, oh, I don't need to learn anymore. It's like you can always keep learning.
Right.
And that's why things are going to come to you. If you keep learning, you'll stay sharp. If you just stop, then it's like, you're just waiting for the grave. I know
Yeah.
that's morbid, but
No, but you have to learn and do, and sometimes doing helps you to learn, and vice versa. And
absolutely.
just repetitive. That's going to
Yeah.
help you.
Where do you see the audition process going with the advent of the pandemic? Do you think that do you think it's going to move more toward like something like this, so that we can still have the casting director giving you notes? Because I mean, the self-tape is great, but the casting director can't direct the actor. So you could cast somebody and be like, oh, they were awesome. You bring them on the set, and then they're like, oh, I didn't know he couldn't run, or he can't jump in a straight line, or
Well, that's why
because
we hire us, is so virtually or in-person casting or self-tape. I'm here to find out if you need the guy to run. He's gonna run on tape before you see him. And
yeah,
that's actually better done on tape on your own than coming into my room. But I've been doing self-tape like this for 10 years now.
yeah,
So I've, because of where I live and what I do, as soon as anything about, people have phones in their hands and there's a video there, or even before that, there was, I figured out ways to move information so that talent didn't have to leave their houses. And if I needed a golfer, they could get a videotape to me and I could present that to my client, as opposed to trying to,
get you in the
I
room and
I would,
having to.
you get them in the room, they're taking out the ceiling. I have rented golf courses, the part, I don't remember what the part is where they swing. Yeah. but golf areas,
Yeah.
where we would do our casting, but that's an awful lot to do. And it's expensive. So if they could
Yeah.
just go out and film themselves and I see their swing, my client could see their swing, done and done.
Yeah.
There are so many things that are better on a self-tape. Also, to your point of you need direction, you don't. But if you do, guess what? I have redirected talent on self-tape 3 and 4 times because I know they're right for the job. And I'm like, that's not quite it. And then I'd say to their agent, let's do it this way. That's not quite it. Let's do it this way. One more time. And she
That's
got
what I
it.
like about what I found from doing research on you, is you've really kept up with the times. You talked about how you did VHS, then it went to CD-ROM, and then it went to, I guess, DVD, and
Isn't
then
that
now it's
crazy? Yeah.
file. But I
Yeah.
like that about you, is that you always kept, using the new technology and finding, easier ways to get it to the client.
And I'm not even predisposed that way,
Yeah.
right? I forced myself into that sort of thing,
Yeah.
and here I
Learning.
am. Yeah, like I said, this year, I decided to hit my Instagram, and now I
Yeah.
have a robust following. Instagram pays me to do things. It's funny.
Yeah. No, I always look back at the Jerry Seinfeld quote. It's like you write a joke and then you scratch that day off and you just keep going. You try to keep the line going, and it's like it's a great way to just stay motivated.
That's it. His yellow pad is inspirational. Do you ever see the movie that he did? And he's
Which
like
one?
amongst, I don't remember, but it's there wasn't. I'm talking. This is like a documentary about him, and
Ah,
he's in it amongst his yellow pads,
yeah.
and I mean, and there are hundreds of them, and he's like lying amongst them. I'm just remembering this cut. I think it's a documentary. Maybe I'm wrong,
I
but
mean,
I
that sounds
know
like him. I mean, he's
maybe
very,
it was a lengthy interview with him, maybe on uh
yeah,
a David Letterman show, maybe on Netflix. I'm not sure. Look it up. I'm sorry.
interesting. Yeah, but no,
But
that's
I
interesting
remember
that
him and
he's
his yellow pads, and I'm sure to this
just,
day he still writes jokes on yellow pads.
yeah. Wow, that's got to be a lot of yellow pads
It is,
everywhere.
right? And he's got to
Woo.
really work it out. It's a fine-tuned thing. I
Yeah.
mean, I've watched that guy in person, and you could see how he is. I mean, every word, every pause, every moment is done well before he steps on that stage.
And that's what the actor needs to do. And that's called, that's doing
Right.
the work. Really knowing
Right.
your craft, mastery.
Of
He has a
course.
mastery of what he's doing. I think that's something that, is lacking a lot. Is actors just kind of, we got it good. It's like, no, but that's what rehearsal's for. If you have the,
Right.
the ability to do rehearsal, now that's getting cut, you're lucky with a play to get, 2 weeks, but,
Yeah.
then that means you got to do the work beforehand.
Before, yeah, your
Paul
rehearsal
Newman
is,
would go to the actor's house and be like, we got to work on this outside of you.
Oh, a
And
lot
it's
of
like that,
directors do that. Absolutely.
it's like I think that's what actors need to do more of, is like, it's every day, a little bit every day,
Right.
you can't just like let it up to like, oh, I got an audition, now I need to start working. It's like, you need to be working already and have it,
Absolutely.
and have things ready, because you don't know when the call's going to come, you got to be ready then,
It's true. It's true.
yeah. So one of the things, what do you think motivates you in casting? I mean, you've kind of answered this already with like the changing of things. I think you really enjoy that, and the fact that it's spontaneous. It's like, it's not just A, B, C, D. It's, it's A, and then like D is all the way over here, type of thing.
Right.
So I am, yeah.
You're going to be surprised by this answer, but money.
Mm,
Money.
money. Really? Money?
No, honestly. So I'm in business, as you are as actors, as we are as location scouts, makeup artists, directors. So listen, if you're paying me to do a job, because I rarely work for free, I mean, that is a tiny possibility. So yeah, it's a job. I take it seriously. And you are entrusting me with your project, and you are paying me. So the money actually motivates me, because
Yeah.
I know you're believing in me enough to pay me, and I am not cheap.
And
And
stakes are on
so
the line.
right,
Too.
right. It's like it's all the things, but money motivates me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. That's great. No, I think that's great.
I mean, we're all there for the art, but I'm also there for the business. And I want actors to be there for the business too. Because if you flake out and go artsy on me, and
Yeah.
you're all, we can't get into you. We can't
I'm sorry, he's
access.
meditating right now.
Right,
We can't get to
right.
it. It's like, you can
Understand.
use aspects of that, but you also have to be able to, because you're working with human beings, unless you're
We're
at a level
working. We're
where,
working. We're
that is
paying you.
tolerated,
Yeah.
it's
You have to
that's,
show up. You have to be within the confines of our working situation. We cannot move to your artistic demands. You are probably not in that kind of league. And you know what? Even those who are in that league generally just work, we work with a team. We show up. They're in that league because they have been professional their entire careers, showing
exactly.
up, doing the work, talking about making an artistic change. That's reasonable. but we're all actually business people, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a team effort.
Right. This is not,
effort.
I don't do casting for volunteer work. It's my job.
Yeah.
I show up.
One of the things I noticed doing your research is you quoted Abraham Hicks. Are you a fan of Esther and Jerry Hicks's books?
I'm trying to think of who that is.
Basically, Abraham Hicks
Literally, I
is the.
quoted a guy and I can't remember who he
That's
is.
funny. I don't know. I
Apologies.
saw that, so I was like, I wanted to ask you about
What's
it.
the quote?
I didn't write the quote down. I just noticed Abraham Hicks, and I was just
Isn't that
like,
funny? It might have been a repost
fascinating.
on Instagram, and not that I do
I
that
think it was a
willy-nilly.
repost there, but
And I probably liked the sentiment, but didn't really acknowledge who it came from. And I'm sorry for that. But I can't remember all of it, but I'm just being honest.
No, I'm digging deep. So you're not going to remember everything that.
Right. No, good for you.
What is it like being a member of the Casting Society?
So the Casting Society, I love it. I joined late in my career, I think less than 10 years ago. But long enough to have a full experience. I've been to many meetings and so forth. At the beginning of my career, I was just like a lone wolf, and I would do all my work and figure it out on my own forever. And then just something came over me, and I'm like, I want to be part of this bigger group. So I joined, and I mean, I love this group. They took me in, like I would show up to meetings in Los Angeles or New York, and they would treat me just lovely. It was, not what, I really expected them to be mean to me because, she's from Florida, but they were sweet. All of them, such a nice, inviting group. And then fast forward to over COVID. I mean, we did these great Zoom coffees, and we got to know each other, and that was nice. And we do such great work as a group. We do all of the different ethnicities and sexes. We do open calls and have a library of these talent in our website for our members. So I love that. We do meals for monologues, and
I loved hearing about that.
I love
the meals
that
for monologues.
Yeah, we
That's
went
great.
virtual, so it's easy for me to do. I was just on the cusp of doing it in person. When COVID started, I thought, I'll bring that to Florida, and I love the virtual though. It really, it's better.
Yeah.
I think so many of the virtual things, I think it has changed our industry in great ways. And sure, that shouldn't take away from the fact that we need to do things in person, but to have the option and have people get used to doing this kind of thing
Yeah.
and be
this is kind of what's going to be
it.
like on camera. It's just
This
going to be
is
this is great. This is all we're going to see.
I mean, to me, yeah, no, I'm working, listen, a self-tape, I'm getting basically an on-camera audition, I'm getting, you're in your environment, right? I'm going to put you on film anyway. So there you are. I could see what you look like. And if you're taking a class on Zoom, it's basically an on-camera class. They don't have to put you on, I mean, I think it's great. I think there's a lot to be learned.
Now you're also a chair on the Tampa Bay advisory boards. How did that come about?
I am. I told them they needed to resurrect that. I used to be on the board years ago, and I said, we need to do this some more. It's just, I really believe in the film commissioners around the country because they do help help make films happen everywhere, right? So, if you're looking to shoot anything in any city, see if they have a film commissioner. Most do. And they can help you with permits, and they can help you some, in Florida, we don't have state incentives, but we have local incentives. So it's, I'm able to invite people, anybody, not special invite at all, to come and have our local incentives. And it can be pretty effective, particularly for a little lower budget film. The fact that the film industry has moved to incentive only practices is really, it's a weird business model, if you ask me. It makes the film industry. I remember there was literally a movie that was written for a specific part of Tampa called Ybor City, and it was built by Cubans at the turn of the century. I don't know, whatever. And it's a very unique looking place. Well, because of the Georgia incentives, that movie moved to Georgia, and they built, a sound.
That's what happened here.
Right. I mean, it happens.
North Carolina everywhere. Lost its.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that movie looked terrible. It didn't have what we talked about earlier. You could tell that it wasn't right.
Authenticity.
It did. Yeah. So you lose your authenticity, and, so you gain 30%, which is great. And one day maybe we'll get it back, but it ain't happened now.
Yeah, because you were talking about that in 2018, and now
right,
not much has changed.
No, nothing. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are movies that come and go.
I don't want to go into politics on here, but
I mean, I think there's some obvious undertow there that, people can fill in the blanks.
So what do you think about the film that you cast, Not Alone? How did you were really passionate about that? Like, you really wanted to do that? I
mean, first of all, I got along so well with the producer star, Sarah Schroeder Madskin. Her and I got on really well. So, I mean, I'm all people driven. So and we'd talk about meeting every day for coffee to talk about who could do this, who could do that, and that would be coffee on the phone. But that was before Zoom was so much a thing. And frankly, I prefer to talk on the phone anyway.
Yeah, we just had Skype and FaceTime. And
yeah. You could do all that, but there was no need, because we were just talking on the phone and having a cup of coffee and talking about different actors that would serve the the main characters. The budget was pretty small, and but it's a good script. It's a good movie. And, I did it tip to toe, and I did that all digitally, all that casting digitally. And it was, and, I'm going to love a project if they applaud me every step of the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's always,
they don't see you as somebody who's in the way. You see somebody as like, right, they're going to help you. Do you find that is something that happens when that projects like that they see the casting director as like in the way, or do you normally
it's, we're underappreciated in general. My comment is usually, they remember us in the front when they need us, but in the back when they're taking the crew picture, they never call for us.
Yeah,
we'd probably show up on set for the crew shot.
Exactly.
But
exactly. No,
I did on Not Alone. You know what I mean? Yeah, but it's telling, it's telling when they don't bother to call you. It's like,
kind of they see you as like lawyers or something, like,
right,
that's our
right. How often, if you don't put your credit in your deal memo, you won't get one. You just won't get them. They will completely forget about you. Yeah, it's just,
see, I'm glad you're sharing that, because a lot of actors see, the casting director is just like this, gatekeeper or whatever. It's like,
I mean,
they just don't like me. It's like, it's not about like it.
No. If we bring you in, we it's not about liking you or not liking you. Let's also face that. It's
Exactly.
about liking your work or not liking work, and liking the fact that you show up. Those are two
Exactly.
things. If you're showing
Professionalism.
up and your work is not perfect, I'm gonna have you still show up because I want to
Yeah.
see you improve. And if I see you improve, then I'm happy, and you're gonna get something. It may take a while. Sometimes you don't improve and you still get something because the director sees something in there that works for him or her, and that's great. But yeah, casting directors are underappreciated. Of course, we don't have an Oscar category, and I think we're a long ways off from it, because what I see is the director of the movie likes to say he cast the movie. So to acknowledge that a casting director was in that process really takes away from them. So I think we are where we are, and we're more of a service industry in their mind as opposed to a creative industry, right?
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
It's a difficult, it's a fine line, and I'm trying to uncover that mystery and
like maybe they could bring you
expose
up with like the best picture, like they bring in the producers. I mean, you had a lot to do with the talent. There's
every
somewhere we can
single,
bring that in.
you get the best picture, and how many people are on on that
hate
stage
sometimes.
collecting that Oscar? So many, but
Yeah.
casting director doesn't even. I think sometimes they're invited to the Oscars, but
Does SAG have it? Does SAG do anything for or no? Is it kind of just?
I think that's about the actors.
It's just the actors. Yeah.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah.
I think Golden Globes has a casting. I should know this better. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, no, I think you hit on a nail on the head with that. I mean, it's true. They
Once
are kind
again,
of underappreciated.
I work for a paycheck. So,
yeah.
I do a project because they're paying me, not because they believe in me, but hopefully they do.
Yeah. But I think that's the I think also the problem is, do we really want to add more awards to the already long telecast of the Oscars?
I know, but there's so many that are awarded in the room before.
Yeah, but that's a good point. There should be something. Yeah. If you don't want to put it on the televised part, then at least have is there's the science awards that happens the night before.
The thing is, I know we are a hardworking group of people. And I think we're definitely a part of the creative process and not just a gatekeeper.
Yeah. And I think actors need to know that. And that's why I'm restating that. I mean,
thank you.
We're working hand in hand each other.
Absolutely.
So now we're gonna switch topics a little bit here. So you watch a lot of films and stuff. What are you watching currently?
Oh, I just watched the one Leo Grande with Emma. Something Leo Grande. The very sexual movie, but it was fantastic.
Wait, which film is this? Was this on? Is this on Netflix?
It's on like Hulu, I think.
On Hulu.
Or maybe HBO Max. Terrible.
There's so many. There's so many shows now that are coming in. Do you still go to the theater? I mean, or has the pandemic kind of?
Well, the pandemic kind of squashed that a bit. So I haven't been to all these new movies that have come out in the theater yet. I have been to film festivals, so there's no reason for me to not go to a movie. Yeah. I wear my mask still. I'm the only one in the room.
But no,
doesn't matter to me.
Do it. Hey, if it makes you feel good, then do it.
I might do it forever. You never know.
I don't know about that, but yeah, but if you want to do that, hey. I love that you talk about how you deal with the talent agents, directly. I mean, in some circles, you're hearing the talent agents, they want you to know all the casting directors. I don't want to give names because, that's not appropriate, but I liked hearing that of what you were saying, that, you are in contact with a lot of talent agents all across the country. It's not just in Tampa. It's
yeah, of course. Oh, every day, all over the country. And I pick up the phone and call them. But yeah, actors should, I mean, once again, follow the money. Actors are hiring agents to represent you. So that's who your communication is with, your agent. Casting directors are hired by the production. That's who my communication is with. So when I'm hiring an actor with a talent agent, I am communicating with the talent agent, right? Yeah. Because she is my source to get the talent, right? And if I had to call the amount of actors that I see in a day, if I had to physically go out there and call them, personally, I wouldn't have enough time. I couldn't see the amount that I do. Right. It's ridiculous. So, I call the talent agents who get their best talent in the door for me and get everything going and get their self-tape in or get all the information. I use casting software. I'm a big proponent of the casting software. I use all of it. And it's great. And yeah, but yeah, my communication is with the agents and with the production company, and you as actors should be in touch with your agent. And if you don't have an agent, then absolutely hit the public boards and do what that says. But emailing me out of the blue and sending me all your stuff is not going to get you work. I promise you. Messaging me. The only thing I will tell you to do is to comment on my posts, share my posts. If me or any other casting director is sharing a public casting, share that out. I see who shares my stuff. I look at that and I appreciate it. And I'm not saying my appreciation gets you a job. I am not saying that at all. But if you're looking to dance for me, do me a favor, share my stuff.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, go back. It goes back and forth.
Absolutely.
Do you have a beginning of the day routine?
I do. Absolutely. Okay. I wake up. My husband brings me coffee and a cappuccino, actually. And then I go walking with some girlfriends outside in the heat or the cold, but I live in Florida, so it's really cold. And yeah, we do that for a good hour. Then I get another coffee and then I start and take a shower and then I start my work.
But that's great. You start with some physical activity,
absolutely,
to get you ready.
Sets my day. And if I don't do that, I'm not right.
Yeah, that's great. So you have your routine. Do you have a nighttime routine? Some people have that. Some people don't. It gets a little, because sometimes you fall asleep, it's like you just fall asleep.
Yeah, I do so many things at night, and every night it's a little different. I take a class on Tuesdays. I have my Clubhouse on Mondays, so every day is a little different. So I don't have that kind of a routine, but I do go to sleep every night and I do respect my time of sleep. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't stay up all night. That's not my thing.
Yeah, no, that's not good for you either.
No.
Do you meditate?
I've tried.
Okay.
I have a rabbi who does some meditations, and sometimes I'll come into that. I'm better at it than I used to be. Do I spend time every day doing that? I do not.
Yeah.
Should I? Maybe.
I mean, it's up to you. I mean, I find for me, meditation helps. It just gets me to stop.
Right.
Because when it's very easy to just keep going. And when you meditate, it forces you to look within. And there's the very few things that will make you do that other than meditation. It's hard. I'm not gonna lie.
I can't. Yeah. It's like I've got so much stuff going on. It's hard to stop and do something like that for my brain.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for doing this. This was great.
Thank you for having me. This was so
And
great getting to know you.
it was,
And
this was,
yeah,
I enjoyed this.
thank you so much.
How can people reach you?
Oh, the best thing to do at any point, because I keep it pretty fresh, is my link in bio on my link tree on my Instagram. It has all of the places. And if you would follow, like just hit it down the line, my Facebook, my cat, like right now I have the hits up. If I'm casting something and there's a link, it's right there. If I'm doing, it's got my clubhouse, my clubhouse, and my club has like almost 23,000 members. It's amazing.
Wow, that's amazing. That
I
is
know.
amazing.
I mean, it's like something I kind of just built over the pandemic, and kind of proud, honestly. I'm not gonna
But I think
lie.
it's great. You're providing a service. You're telling actors something that they
Right.
don't know. I mean, that's kind of what I'm trying to do here is show
Yeah.
people it's like no, they're people too. They're not these gatekeepers as we if I could
Right.
smash that idea of
No,
these
I'm the
gatekeepers,
queen of that.
you know.
Yeah, we're showing people that casting directors are human, and
Yeah,
we
that's what I loved about seeing on all your interviews. Even though it's always been consistent, and you're so willing and you're so giving, and it's great.
thank you. I try, and I try and give you work too. That's the main thing
Yes.
is we'll focus on getting you guys some work and not beating you up. And yeah, definitely please follow and share my posts and do things like that. That really helps me to help you guys. And
Yeah,
maybe if you share one of my posts, somebody out there in the world will get a job just because you shared it. So I
exactly.
really do appreciate that, and so do the other actors.
Yeah.
So that is the best thing to do. Do not inbox me. Do not, I mean, like you did. If you want me on a
Yeah.
podcast or something like
Yeah,
this, of
that's
course, that's it.
specific, but it's not like, hey, look at my reel, that you don't want, it's like,
I mean,
okay,
yeah.
how many
First
is
of
that?
all, I
30.
don't open random links. I don't look at random photos. They are blurred out. So
Yeah.
sending me inbox photos, you will never be seen ever. So just
Yeah.
don't do it. Don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Don't spend your time. I'm not looking at them. No heart. It's just your harsh reality. I'm sorry. Go spend your time trying
Yeah.
to find a talent agent because they're out there.
Exactly. All
Yeah.
right. I think you said it best. Well, I want to say thank you once again. And yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Nice to see you.
Okay, that about does it for this episode. I want to thank Rose Rosen of Casting Society. You can find her on Instagram at Rose Rosen CSA. You can find her on Clubhouse at Craft of Casting. That's every Monday night. You can find her old show on YouTube called Casting Notes from Rose and Kim. They talk to different people in the industry. You can find her on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, IMDb, website, which her website is castingbyroserosen.com. Also, she has auditions for Hits the Musical. I would recommend you check out that link in her link tree or in the links that I put down below. If none of these links work, please go to Instagram. You could find her link tree. Once again, that is at Rose Rosen CSA. You can also schedule a coaching session with her. Self-tape kit, use the code ROSE for 70% off. And yes, I would like to thank Rose Rosen for her time. And I hope you enjoyed this. To all my fellow actors, do not contact her by email, phone, or even really DMing her. If you need to contact her, I would recommend doing the Clubhouse and or your talent agent. I really want to thank her for giving me her time, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this, please subscribe or give me a little review. As always, you can find me at Justin Yachts, and I will see you next time on the DMF.